Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I'm your host, Asia the Bird. To have a very special guest with me today. She is a nail artist and the winner of NTNA Season 9. Please welcome Nick Sawyer. Hello, Nick. Welcome to the show.
Hello, and hello, everybody, and thanks for watching.
Yes, you are most welcome. Glad to have you here. So I want to go ahead and ask, where are you originally from and how did you get started in the nail industry?
So I'm born and bred in Lincoln, UK, and I started my nail journey around 9 years ago. So I was quite late to the game. I had several other careers beforehand. I was a chef, I've been a teacher, a lecturer, you name it, I've done it. And my husband, though, he works for a wholesaler here in the UK, very similar to Sally's. He got Salon services or something like that there in the US. He works for a company like that. And there was a spare place on a nail course. They needed an even number. I happened to be off. And he said, Nick, will you come on this course? Because we need an even number. And I said to him, do I look like a nail tech? And he said, Nick, with bigger eyebrows and some fake tan, I think you can pull it off. And that's how I started. I went along and I thought, you know what, I actually really enjoy this. And it just mushroomed into what I do today.
Wow, that's really, really cool. Now, the area that you're in or that you're from, which is Lincoln in the UK, is the nail community very small? Like, how big is the nail community? Is that
no, it is massive here in the UK. Nails is absolutely huge. And like where I live at the moment in Lincoln, for instance, we have Facebook pages that are just for us nail techs, like a community. So we kind of try and standardize our practice, standardize our pricing. So I'm very, very lucky to in this area where I live, that it's very, very, very close knit. And everybody has their nails done in the UK now. It is everybody, and their dog has their nails done in the UK at the moment.
Who would you consider to be like your favorite nail artist? It don't have to be three. It could be like a few. Like, who would you consider to be like your favorite nail artist that you looked up to?
Oh, well, when it comes to inspiration, because I think these are two different things, because I must follow 100 different nail artists on Instagram. They are mainly Eastern European artists. I like that kind of technique. I like the acrylic. I like the fine detail. But one nail artist that has influenced me immensely is a lady called Rachel Wilders, who here in the UK, she has her own branding, and she's a teacher and a mentor to me. And about a year ago, and I was on a training day with her, she took me to one side and she said, Nick, you need to come off the tools. You need to stop doing on the tools, and you actually need to start competing, because you will not develop unless you actually take time for your own personal development. So for me, Rachel was she kept me up the bum, basically. She said, stop doing these gel polishes and start competing. So she was a massive influence on myself. Yeah.
That's really, really cool. Now you have your own nail academy. So tell us about your nail academy and what courses you offer.
So I started Nail Couture, the academy training side, probably about 3 years ago. As I said, I came from a teaching background initially, so the jump wasn't too big for me. So as soon as I felt confident to show my skills, it wasn't too big a jump for me. I specialize in very, very small, intimate courses, normally taught on a one-to-one basis. So people will come from all over the country just to spend a day with me. And I find that learners get so much out of this, rather than a course with 10 to 15 learners on, because and I have taught those types of courses, don't get me wrong, but I find with large numbers, there's always somebody that's amazing. Isn't there? There's always someone that's amazing, and there's always somebody that really struggles, and it's the two ends of the spectrum that seem to get all of the attention, whereas the people in the middle, they're the ones that can be kind of lost. So I really do love doing one-to-one courses, and I do from beginners, as in they've never picked up a brush in their life and don't know one end of a nail to another, to competition standard, nail art, so extreme nail art. And all of my courses are accredited, so they can go and then get insurance, which, so they can actually go and do this as a business, not just a hobby, doing on friends and family. So that's what I specialize in here.
That's really, really great. Now I want to shift gears, like speaking of nail education, what is your whole take in terms of nail education, like in the UK, and how could it be improved?
Right. So here in the UK, unlike a lot of other places in the world, there is absolutely no standardization or regulation. Right. So basically there's nobody policing this. So we have fantastic educators, and the majority of us are, we share good practice, we go on continuous professional development, we are very, very good at our job. But unfortunately, there are some other courses. So I was just on my Facebook page the other day, and I'm not going to say what company it was, but a little company for only £25, which is about $23. Yeah. You can become a qualified nail tech, and they will issue. Yes, that's the face I pulled too. yeah. And so what they do is they'll send you a load of, all of your theory over. They will pretend to have a look at your work the other end, and they will issue a certificate that's not even worth the paper it's not even written on. It is, and because people don't understand that when it says accredited CPD, that means continuous professional development. It doesn't actually mean it's accredited by an awarding body. So we really need to be drilling down on this, because people don't know. If I was new to the nail industry and I saw this on my Facebook page, I'd go, oh, bargain. £25, I too can become a nail artist or a nail tech, and you would pay it. And people are paying hundreds and hundreds of pounds on these courses,
right,
which aren't actually teaching them anything, completely wasting the money. And actually, more importantly, it's bringing down the level of education of the nail industry in the UK, because now we've got people doing nails, off a coffee table in their living room. Saying that they are qualified to do nails, which they're not. And it's not fair on them either. These big companies are taking advantage of this. So we do need some standardization, some regulation. And I know there could be a little bit of pushback about this from some educators, but if you're doing a good job anyway, and you are covering the framework, this shouldn't be a problem for the majority of educators. It's only going to be a problem for people that are making money and taking advantage.
Right. And like here in the US, like we have regulation, but the thing is, like, for me, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. So my hours, here, especially where I'm from, I'm in Maryland. So it's like 1,500 hours to get your cosmetology license. So I got my license. And especially the whole thing is, like, before or even after you get your license, you still have a lot to learn. So the thing with education, beauty education, especially with the nail education, you still have a lot more to get yourself equipped for. It's not just so much the hours to pass, it's beyond that.
Of course it is, and we should be, as nail professionals, having to, like, if in most other professions, you have to put a certain amount of hours in per year for your own development to make sure that you're still actually good at what you do. And we really need to be bringing that here in the UK. We need to be saying that, 3 or 4 times a year, you still need to go on a course, to make sure that what you're learning is still up to scratch, it's still relevant. Right. Because I don't know about you, but every year they change what the cuticle is and what the eponychium is. It's like this is really cuticle. So like when we first started out, the keratinized skin at the base with the eponychium area. Okay, we were first taught, oh no, that's cute, that's cuticle, and it's like, well, no, that isn't cute, that isn't cuticle, but I said only 5 years ago we were being taught that wrong information. So this is why it's important for us to keep on going back, going, actually, no, this is this. If you put this is going to happen. So, and of course, trends, trends change, products change, lamps change, chemicals change. Yeah. So this is why all of us still need to go back to school, basically, all of us.
Right, exactly. Now, what has been your experience having your own nail salon or nail studio?
I mean, I love it. I would never work for anybody else ever again. And I'm sure if you work for yourself, you agree. The bonus, I mean, the flexibility of working for yourself is fantastic. The downside is you never switch off when you work for yourself, do you? You never switch off. You're always thinking about the business, your learners, your clients. How can you do a better job? What services can you offer? I've never worked as hard as what I have working for myself.
Right, exactly. Now, how important is what are the things that someone should know in terms of owning their own salon or nail studio before they can, jump into like working with, their clientele and things like that? So what are some of the things that one should know about owning a salon?
Okay, so know your basics. First of all, know what you're meant to be doing. Know your craft well before you even start investing serious money into your own salon. Because if you haven't got the skills to actually do it, you can throw thousands of dollars at a salon, but if you actually can't do the job yourself, you might not do it. Also, research the area, research about what other salons are in the area. What are they offering? What can you offer that's different, that's better, that's an alternative?
Right.
Because it's not a race to the bottom either. Right. It's not a case of they're charging £50 for a set of nails that I'm only going to charge 40, because charging cheaper doesn't mean better. Right. So look at the costings of what other people are doing, what they're charging, and see if you can actually offer something different. So that's where nail art comes in, really, because a lot of nail techs can paint a nail and put a flat a straight acrylic down, but can you offer something different? Can you charge a premium? Yeah, and so that would be my advice: is try and find a niche. Try and find something that nobody else is doing.
Right, exactly. And especially I want to go into pricing, because I think this is something that, us as nail artists or nail techs kind of struggle with, like trying to find that medium or that median in terms of just how to price and how to go about things. So
it's really difficult.
What is your whole take in terms of just like how to go about pricing? Would you recommend charging by the hour in terms of nail art, or with a nail enhancement? Like, what are some things you recommend in terms of pricing?
So I have like a base level. So for a base set of acrylics or a base gel money, but and then I put my nail art on like in tiers. So if I have to pick up a brush to do something extra, that's another £5. Before I even do anything, really, it's another £5. If I have to pick up that brush and think about getting some glitter, that's another £5. And that's why I take it like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4. So if someone's having a little bit of something on a couple of nails, that might be tier 2. But if somebody's having it on all of their nails, that's going to be tier 3, tier 4. So automatically you're putting another £15 to £20 on that service. But also what I do as well with clients, and I always recommend this to my students, before you pick up a brush, when your client comes in and you're doing that initial consultation with them, and you're saying, right then, okay then, so you're having a full set of acrylics, you're having them extreme length, you're having them encapsulated glitter on these, you want all the Disney princesses on this one, you want some rhinestones on that one, and we add this up, that's going to be £95. And if they look at you and go, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be that much, we go, okay, what aren't we doing? What aren't we doing? Because you don't want that conversation, do you, at the end, where you go, oh, that's £95, and they go, oh, I only bought 70. I'll bring the rest round later. You're never going to see it. You're never seeing them again.
Right.
So that's what I say is, like, with your pricing, put your structure in and be honest with your client at the beginning of the service, saying, okay, you want X, Y, and Z. This is going to be this much money. And they're either going to agree to it or they're not.
Yeah, that's the thing, because you don't want to undercharge what you do, especially, I see nail artists doing like press-on nails, and, I do press-on nails, and, people are charging $100, $200, $300 because that takes time, like the artwork, the quality of the products, you're investing in yourself.
Yes, exactly. And people think that press-ons, that you're going to be sitting doing those press-ons watching the TV, with your feet on the table. You're not. Those press-ons, when you're doing it to such a high standard, they take nearly as much time as if you were doing it on an actual set of hands. Right. Yes. They take nearly as much time. So that is the other thing about press ons. I mean, in the UK during lockdown, everyone was doing press ons, and people were knocking them out like at £10. Yeah.
Right.
And it's like, you're not even making national minimum wage, charging £10. Even if you're just painting them one colour, you are not making national minimum wage. You know, by the time you've got your products, your tips, the box, the postage, you're not making any money at all.
Right.
But I think as well, it's the mindset of people. When you talk about nails, people say, oh, we often hear it, don't we? She just does nails, or they just do nails. You know, she just does it to earn a little bit of money. I think we need to be bringing up, you know, how much skill. We are actually artists, like macro artists. So you look at the things that we do. Right. Yeah. And we need to be paid for our skill. That's what we need to be doing.
Right, most definitely. Now, what is your whole take in terms of how to deal with different clients, especially with different nail beds? Because when I was in college, I worked at a spa, and, you know, you learn how to work with different clients, different, you know, cuticles, nail beds, and things like that. So what is your whole advice in terms of how to deal with clients?
Okay, so as in regards to the actual fingers, when you get a finger. So I always teach my learners that it's very rare you're going to get a perfect nail bed. If you get a perfect nail bed, it's like, oh, great, fantastic. I say you're going to get a ski jump bed. You're going to get a hooked bed. You are going to get a dry cuticle, a glued cuticle, a wet cuticle. If you're really unlucky, you might get all of them things on just one set of hands. Right. So I always say that, especially, I'm giving an example of a naturally hooked nail. So in this country, we like the lower arch to come straight out, like more of an Eastern European. I know in some other countries they prefer them to come round, but we like them to come straight out. So if somebody's got a naturally hooked nail, when they're coming for infill, we have to do a major rebalance. So we're actually building it up at the tier, as you know, and then we have to take our e-file and bring it up so it comes straight out, scoop it out from underneath. So we're scooping away the actual real nail, and all of that takes time. Right. That takes time. So I'm very honest with my clients when they come. If they have got difficult nails or difficult nail beds, I'll say, right, you have this. So when you come to me for maintenance, if you want this specific look that you're wanting, this very Eastern European look that comes straight out, that is going to take longer for me to do. If I just did a straight infill for you and let your natural nails curl round, that'll take me literally half the time, but aesthetically it's not going to look what you want. So I explained to them, I'm going to have to do major rebalance. So you're going to have to come back every 3 weeks. We're going to have to rebalance every time, and that is going to cost more money. Right. Yeah. Or the other option is that they take off their nails at home using acetone. They cut their own nails right back, and we start from scratch every 3 weeks, because it's very rare that you get a set of nails and the maintenance. So it's really easy to do. Right. Yeah, they all come, and then you have like your ski jump nails, you know, with your dip. Yeah. Right. So we're filling in that dip with products before we even balance out an apex. So there's even more products there. Right. And actually on a lot of courses we're not taught these things in the UK. Right. We're not taught how to deal with this. And as a new learner, you go out into the industry and you're like, oh my God, this doesn't look like a normal nail. What am I meant to do with this? Yes. So the more difficult the nail, the more money I charge. Basically, that's the top and tail of it. If it's going to take me more time and more products, I charge extra. Right. Now, what is a wet cuticle for people who don't know what a wet cuticle is? Oh, wet cuticle. So, they are the demons of the wet cuticle. So, as I said, they'll come in 3 different varieties, roughly. They do mix and match as well, just to make life a bit more difficult. So I'll tell you, a dry cuticle is the perfect cuticle. We've got a very, very nice semicircle at the base of that nail. When we're applying the product, it slips in there nicely. Yet when we're working the epinicium and the cuticle area, it's very rare that they bleed or we have any problems, because they are lovely, they're beautiful. Then we have a glued cuticle, and I suffer from glued cuticles. So my nail bed is, I don't have a natural dip. It comes straight out. So I have to really work on the area at the base of my nail to create that little semicircle. But glued cuticles can also be nail biters, where they've overstimulated the nails trying to repair itself. You get this wedge of skin growing onto the nail plate. But a wet cuticle are normally young people from about six, when you can start doing the nails, so about 16 to about 21. They have so much youth, it is oozing out of their fingers. Yes, okay. So, and you can always tell, you touch their fingers and they feel a bit like a slippery sausage. Yeah, slippery sausagey. And on your glove, you can see they leave like almost like a sweat mark when you touch them. And their cuticle and their epinicium is extremely hydrated. So if anybody's going to bleed, if anybody's going to go a bit red, it will be them. Yeah, because they are so hydrated. So what we do here in the UK is, if we identify that and go, right, okay, this person's got a very wet, moist cuticle, right, we use dehydrator, and we'll actually put that on the epinicium around the nail to dehydrate that area before we start working with it, because then it's less likely to have any bleeding or anything when we're doing that, because we're taking the moisture away. Yeah, so that's the wet cuticle. And also, if you'll tell as well, if you actually taking the cuticle away, it's almost like spaghetti. When you're cutting it with the nippers, it comes and you go back and it's grown some more. Have you had this before yourself? You go, oh, I've done all of my prep, and then you go back, you go, where's that come from? There's another great big chunk of cuticle there that wasn't there before. So that's a wet cuticle. I don't like them. Nobody likes wet. Nobody likes a wet cuticle.
No. Now I want to switch gears and talk about NTNA season 9. So what has been your experience competing in NTNA season 9? And also too, like, what was your reaction when you first got like the email saying like you made it to, season 9 of NTNA?
Oh, so I don't know if you've seen my initial video when I got a message from through Instagram from Nails Magazine saying, "Hi, would you like to apply for this?" And it was a Sunday night. I'd had a really busy weekend working. So my first instinct was, I'm going to delete that. That looks like too much trouble. I honestly did. I deleted it, and then I went back and went, let's have a look, see what this is. And I read about it, and I thought, you know what? This I'll give it a go. So, and then I had to use a little YouTube kind of, my name's Nicola, blah 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 blah, and you can actually see on the video that I'm like, so okay, this and me, and everyone else's videos were like really like, hi, I'm gonna be this, and I look back at mine and I'm basically like, I think I even say something along the lines of, I think it's going to be like Next Top Model, except I can get fat. And I might not have to lose any weight. I just didn't take it very seriously at all, because I thought the chances of me actually getting through were like so tiny. And I saw, when I saw the other people that were applying, I thought, oh God, there's no way. There's no way I'm going to get through. And then I got the email saying that I was through to the 18. And my husband actually woke me up because of the time difference. It was about 6:30 in the morning or something here, and he woke me up and went, "Nick, you're in the final 18." And I was like, "You're joking." He went, "No, you are. They've sent you like your initial like pre-challenge that you've got to do." And I was like, "Oh no, what have I got myself in?" What have I got myself into? And then I did that very Perry challenge, the first one, and then they cut 6 people straight away on that first on that first round. So to get to the final 12, yet again, I was thinking, God, this is fluky, isn't it? How have I managed to get here? And then literally every week when I got through, I was like, I was waiting for like the nail art police to come and arrest me. That's right. Every week when I got through, I was like, God, I'm through again. I'm through again. It was really, really, it was like an emotional roller coaster, because you've done this as well, haven't you? As I'm looking, you've done this as well,
right? So
you'll know where I'm coming from. So for like, I think it was like 3 months in total of my life, everything was about NTNA. Everything was about NTNA, and there is no in this season, I don't know what it was like previous seasons, but in this season there was no let up. So you had your challenge, you're working on your challenge, and then you had another challenge and you're working on that challenge. So you're working on challenges before you even knew if you were even through. Right. So it was, so you'd find out that you were through. So you had this like, woohoo, I'm through. And then like the realization, oh bugger, I've got to do this next week's now. And then and the feedback, waiting for the feedback every week. That was like, you're on complete tenterhooks, aren't you? Waiting for your feedback to come through. So people say to me, would you do it again? Have you enjoyed it? Yes, I'd do it again, because I'm an idiot. I think I would do it again. Did I enjoy it? It pushed me to do things I would never ever have normally done. You know, even though I teach and I'm in a salon and I do nail art, when somebody else gives you a brief and it's something you would never normally do, it completely takes you out of your comfort zone, doesn't it? So it really does stretch. It really stretches your imagination and your skill set. Yeah, but yes, it was hard going. And I mean, the biggest week for me was when I found out that I was in the final 3. So it wasn't even about me winning in Orlando. For me, it was like, I mean, by some miracle, I have got to the final 3. I just come, and then I won that week as well. So that was like the icing on the cake. So, and I thought, oh God, whatever happens, I'm now going to Orlando, which was just the most bonkers thing ever. Absolutely ever. And then when we got there, I mean, it was so hectic. Basically, all of us were from Europe this year. So, and I think I had the shortest flight time of about 8 hours. Maria and Nancy, I think Nancy had to change her flights and things. She had like a 14-hour flight. Wow. Yeah, it was madness. And we got there on the Friday, and we flew back out again on the Monday. So we did 2 transatlantic flights. Basically, we came to Orlando for the weekend. That's what we did. It was, and of course your adrenaline, when you get there, you've got jet lag. It was the most, put it this way, I couldn't be famous. I couldn't be one of these people that goes everywhere. It's taken me 2 weeks to get over it. It was really bad. It was really bad. But whilst we were there, we had a few things to do as well. So we had to do like a bit of a show and tell about our piece in front of about 100 people, 100 fellow nail techs and artists, talking about where we've come from as nail artists, about our final piece, where we want to go. That was a little nail biting, as you can imagine. And of course, the evening when we found out that prior to this, I have never had an anxiety attack. People talk to me about, that they're feeling anxious and they're having an anxiety attack, and I'd be like, oh, that must be terrible for you, because I'd never had one. But we went into the room, and saw all of the chairs, and there was these great big posters of our faces, which I was like, oh my God, this is just this is the most bonkers thing ever. I'd had no sleep because of jet lag. And of course, everybody wants to give you a glass of champagne every 5 minutes. So it's a lethal combination, to be honest. And I sat there, and Jan Arnold and the rest of the team were up on the stage talking about us and the Beauty Changes Lives charity. And I sat there, and my feet, I remember thinking, I've got pins and needles in my feet. And then these pins and needles started going all the way up my legs. And I was thinking, oh God, I can't breathe properly. My heart's pounding. And then it felt like there was a pillow in my mouth. And then I remember thinking, even my feet are sweaty. And I looked at my hands, and my hands were sweaty, and my heart was pounding. But I didn't have time to have a full-blown panic attack, because then Jan said, let's get them all up on stage. I was like, oh God, no. So I got up. So I'm like this. We get up on stage, and Jan's going, stand a bit closer to the front of the stage. I'm thinking, there's no way I can stand any closer to the front of this stage. I'm going to fall off. I'm going to be falling off this stage. And then they drag it out as well. They don't just go, oh, Nick, you've won, which should have been, oh, thank God, I can't sit down. They don't do that. They go, oh, and second runner-up, and that was Nancy. So of course it's like, oh, God, it's between me and Maria. So and then I started feeling really sick, and then they said Maria was first runner-up. So of course, and the realization, this means I've won. And then I had that ringing in my ears, that oh, and I was like, oh God. And then it was, all of that was a bit of a blur. But then Jan tried to hand me this massive, great big crystal trophy, and my knees were knocking together, absolutely knocking together. It was, I was thinking, I was so overwhelmed, right? So overwhelmed. I couldn't believe I'd won, because Nancy and Maria are amazing. Right. I could not believe I'd won. It was pure shock, absolute shock. And then they'll go, oh, do you want another glass of champagne? I was going, you know what, for the first time in my life, I'm going to say no. I don't think I can handle it. Oh, it was just an amazing experience. So my face hurt afterwards from all of the smiling, all of the take a picture, take a smiling. It was bizarre. But would I recommend it to people? Yeah, go and have a panic attack on stage. It's fantastic.
Yeah, right, exactly. I did season 8. Now with season 8, we didn't have like a pre-challenge. We got straight into the challenges.
All right.
Yeah. And the thing is that like it is a lot of work. It is, it can be stressful, and there's times where I've had my emotional moments where I've cried. Oh God, yeah. Like that, but it's actually very, very cool experience, because it really, like how you said, it challenges you and things like that. And the continuity of it, because I've competed before, but right. You just do what you do in one piece. You do in one piece, you might have a month to do it. Yeah, so it's like it's at your leisure. But this constant, and of course, a lot of us had other commitments. We had family. We were running a salon, or we were teaching. So you had to kind of juggle all of that as well, and that for some people that was a lot of pressure. So some people stepped down this year because they couldn't. They said, look, I can't do this and run my business, and I completely get that, why they took that choice. Yeah, because there were days where I said to my husband, actually, I think even when I got down to the final 3, I said to my husband, I don't want to go to Orlando. And he said, what do you mean? I said, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to do it anymore.
And he went, you are joking, aren't you? And I was like, no, I don't want to go anymore. It's just too stressful. It's just too stressful. But of course, it's because you're on a constant high, aren't you? I think it must be similar to how athletes feel when they're training for a big event.
Right.
Because that's what we are. We're like training for this massive event. Bonkers. It was completely bonkers. It's the most surreal thing I have ever done, honestly. And I couldn't get a cup of tea either in the US. That knocked me for 6. Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah, but I find it very interesting because, like I said, it's a very rewarding, type of experience where you get to, compete, create like big bodies of work that you never thought that you would create. I find it to be very, very cool. But I definitely want to switch gears and talk about, I think I sent a picture of you when you had like that intimate dinner with Jan, but also you had dinner with both Winnie and Beth. How was that experience?
Oh, Winnie and Beth, absolutely bonkers. We are peas of the same pod. Yeah. So we went out. We had a big like C&D dinner with Jan, and that was really nice. And then after that we went out as we call it in Britain, out, and and we ended up in this British themed pub, and I think we got back to the hotel probably about 3 a.m. in the morning that morning. Yes, it was a very entertaining evening, but Winnie and Beth were just hilarious. They are absolutely hilarious. We just laughed the whole night, just being idiots, basically. We were dancing, singing, just having a good time. So that was really nice, actually, because when we first you see Winnie on the telly, on your phone, and we'd actually never really seen Beth really, a couple of times, but because Beth's very behind the scenes because she's part of the production team. Right. So when you actually see them for real, an actual person that you can touch, that's quite bizarre. That's really, really bizarre. And they because I'm about 5'8" and a half, and Winnie's literally here on me, and Winnie was like, Nick, you never told us you were tall. And I was like, I didn't realize that was in the brief that I had to say. So on all the photos, like Winnie's like here, and I have to kind of bend down to be on the same level. But they were so lovely. They were so lovely. Everyone was lovely. And Emily was there, last year's winner. She was so nice as well. And all of the support team as well, all of the other people that were with C&D, nothing was too much trouble. They were lovely, really, really nice guys.
That was really, really cool. Now, what were some of your favorite challenges and some challenges that were like you consider like the most challenging?
Oh, well, so my favorite, naturally, your most favorite challenges are things that you get inspiration quite quickly from. You read the brief, you go, oh, I've got so many ideas, and you come into your nail room and you start away. So my favorite ones, I think, were the street, with the street lamp that I did. So yeah, the glow one, sponsored by Cooper, where I made the street lamp, and I did all of the brickwork. I loved doing that because it was something that I enjoyed doing. I liked doing the Sherwood Forest ones because I like anything. I've since found out doing this, actually, I'm more of a textural artist. If you said to me before this thing, what artist are you? I'd go, I'm a gel artist. I paint with gel. That's what I'd have said. And then what's actually happened in this competition is actually, no, I actually like making physical things, whether it's a dress or a tree or a lamppost. That's what I like. The one that I found most challenging was the monogram one, where we could only use red, black and white, and which were Cooper colours, and we had to create our own monogram. And the more restrictive a challenge was for me, the more I struggled with it, because it was like, oh God, what can I do? but it's red, white and black, and I've got to put my initials on it. I mean, for God's sake, what can I do? And I did it, and I wasn't happy. And I thought, I'm going to have to make this better. I'm going to have to make this better. So I did some like 3D pieces and put them on the nails as well. And that was one of the weeks where I had a bit of a cry with my husband, going, I don't want to do this anymore, I've enough. And that's what I was like with it. And then he messaged me. He went, Nick, you're in the top 3. And then he went, oh, you've won. I was laughing my head off. I said, oh my God. And oh, these nails are lovely, and I was going, I hate these nails. These were awful. These are the worst ones. These are the worst ones ever. But they're my favourites are definitely the Sherwood Forest ones and the street scene. I like, and I think moving forwards, when it comes to teaching now, I'm going to put some courses together where I can teach these types of skills, these texture skills for more extreme work, because it's just fantastic. Once that door's opened, you think, oh gosh, what else can I make? What else can I make out of acrylic and gel?
Yeah, right, exactly. I really like the wood, like that nails that you did. I thought that was really, really cool. And I've been seeing like your other work too. You're really good at like doing like the extreme nails, like that. That's really, really cool.
Yes. So when I do them, they're out here. They're out here. I'll tell you what the most awful thing is though, because when you have to do 10, when you see that you've got 10 to do, your heart drops, because you're like, oh, this means I'm going to have to get my husband to take a photo. So like we are naturally quite good at taking a photo. Nail artists, we know about lighting, we know about catching the line of light and the shadow. I'd be like, right then, Paul, I need you to take a photo. And he's like, okay. And it's like, Paul, you've managed to get the cat in it. We do not need a picture of the cat in with his nails. So when anything was like on 10 fingers, a bit of me died, because I was like, I'm going to have to rely now on my husband to take this photo. Right. That was really difficult. That was probably the most difficult thing of the whole competition. Did you not agree taking the photos, getting you do this beautiful work, and it's like, oh, that looks amazing. You take a photo, you go, that looks rubbish. That bears no resemblance to what I've just created. So the photos. Oh, did you have to do the videos as well? Did you have to do all the videos, like the YouTube videos? Yeah, we had to do like YouTube videos, and my dad had to help me with the nail photos. Oh. Doing the actual nails was the easiest bit. It's like, right. And then, of course, I don't know about yourself, but when you first start and you're videoing it, you video everything, don't you? Because that's what you do. And you have to edit it all down. By set 8, you're like, no, I'm just going to take a bit of a video of this and a bit of video of that. So that's advice that I'd give to anybody else doing this. It's like, don't video the whole thing. Okay. You video a little bit of you doing something, a key part of it, and then you do the lion's share off camera, and then you come back and you video another little bit to get your editing down, because we had to get ours down to 7 minutes. 7 minutes maximum. And when you're doing something huge like the street one or even the Sherwood Forest ones, it's like there's actually a lot more goes into that than actually you see on the video, because it like even like wiring the lamppost up. I mean, that took like 3 hours to get that. Well, to get like, why isn't this working? I've electrocuted myself twice. Why isn't this working? You don't see any of that on these little beautifully blended edited videos. Right. Videos. I always had a day that was my editing day. Sunday was my editing day. Did you have a day as well, which was your day to? I had an editing day. And so I'd work and I'd go, right, these need to be done by Saturday, because I edit on Sunday and then I upload Sunday night. And then of course everyone's uploading at the same time, aren't they? And you're like, you're waiting with bated breath to see what everybody else's interpretation of the brief is like.
Mm-hmm.
And you either look at them and go, oh, I think I'm safe this week, or you look at them and go, oh no, I've read the brief wrong. I did that twice, by the way. I read the brief wrong twice. And yeah, so in the first, it's a standing joke now. The first brief that I read completely wrong was your personal strength one. I think it was the one after Very Perry. It was one of the first ones, and it was and what is your personal? Well, I think I read it in the morning. I was very busy getting the kids to school. I was like, blah blah blah. Oh yeah, I'll just do that. And I made this wonderful phoenix that hung off one of me things. I was very pleased with it. Yeah, I thought, oh, that's cool. That'll get me through, easy peasy. And then when I started seeing everybody else's uploading, I was thinking, oh heck, I think I've read that. And what it was is they wanted you to your strength in nail art and your personal strength. So everybody else is like, my personal strength is blah blah blah, and this is my personal. And I was like, no, I ain't done any of that. And it was only, I think it was only because the Phoenix was so good that I got through. And then the other one that I buggered up completely as well was the Halston ones, which was Miami Swim Week. And I really love Halston as a designer anyway. So when I read that, yet again, I did the typical Nicola thing of, oh yeah, I'll do some Halston nails. Yeah, I like this. This is a good idea. Or flowy dresses. And I did these nails and I was really happy with them. And then my son, who's in his 20s, he messaged me and went, Mom, what? He goes, I've just seen your Halston nails. I went, oh yeah, they're great, aren't they? He went, yeah, they are great. He goes, did you mention at any point on the nails about Miami? I went, no. Because did you not mention anything in the video about Miami? I went, no. Because you know when you write up, Mum, because did you mention the word Miami at all anywhere in your write? I was like, no. Right. Because you do realise it's meant to be like Miami Swim Week, don't you? And I was like, oh no. So I just like completely missed a massive piece of the brief out. And you nearly die. It's like, how did I miss? How did I miss that out? Right. Another competitors had been chucked out for less. So that was a miracle. That was a miracle, really. That they're just like the dresses that I'd made, these Halston dresses on these nails. It was a miracle that they kept me in. But yeah, so another wonderful piece of advice is read the brief. And then reread the brief. Right. And then reread the brief again. Right. Yeah. Don't do what I do and go, yeah, I've got that. And then like, oh, completely not read the brief at all. Yes. That's what I did. Did you have trouble kind of, when you're reading the brief, it's like, what do they mean? What do they even mean by that? Yeah. I'm like, what do they mean by that? Like, what do they mean specifically? Like I had trouble with that too. But also too, like the whole thing with the video is that, they want it at a certain time, like say, for instance, 5 to 7 minutes or whatever. And, the thing is, you wind up speeding up your process. And of course, they don't want you to speed it up, but it's like, okay, no. In a certain point in time. Yeah, so at the beginning, you just put everything on times 10 to make it go quick. Right. And then later on, you're like, okay. So I learned to go into the video and just take that bit. And then just take that bit. But the other problem I had as well was I'd never done a YouTube video before. I'd never done anything like that. So that had me in a major panic. But my 10-year-old son said, oh, Mum, I'll show you how to use Filmora Go or whatever it's called. So he taught me how to use that. And I was like, oh, this is okay. I can use this. And then about 6 or 7 videos in, the judges then told me, this isn't populating the YouTube channel screen fully and you're losing points. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, they said you can only see this much, but the screen's this big. Can you make it go bigger? And I was like, I have got no idea. I don't know. And you're deducting all these points off me and I don't actually know why that is only that big and it needs to be that big. So I went back to my 10-year-old son. I said, Noah, any idea? He went, no, I don't know either, Mum. I was like, oh, God. And they basically said to me, every week that I was submitting one of these videos and it wasn't populating the full screen, they were deducting points off me. And, you know, and in the end, that could have been the difference between me going to Orlando and not going to Orlando. So I then had to start using what's it called? iVideo, you know, the iMovie. And that was, you know, I switched over to that and that was okay. But that gave me major like worry. That did. Right. And I don't know about you, but you also then start second guessing. It's like, is this bright enough? They want it bright. I've got 28 light bulbs going on. And it's still not bright? Are they not seeing the same video that I'm videoing? Right. Yeah. So that was but now, don't know about you, but I mean, like, clearly you're really confident now on YouTube. You do. Now I can knock a video together like that. You know, it's not a problem now. But initially, oh my God, I nearly said I'm not doing it anymore. It's just too stressful.
Yeah, right, exactly. And I think one thing with the whole thing with the competition is that I think the judging could be a bit more consistent, and especially just narrowing down of what could be better, you know, because they only give you like a small teeny paragraph. They don't give you a full, you know, like rundown of what you need to work on, what you're strong at.
Yeah, well, we got quite a lot of feedback this time. So every judge that was on, and even if they were a guest judge, they gave us probably quite a chunk, really. But I think that the where we did have issues, and I know some other artists had problems with this as well, was that what is personal taste and what is technical, you know, and technical ability. Because when I look at a piece of nail art, I might go, okay, this isn't my personal taste, but I can look at this and I can look at the technical ability. You know, that apex is bang on. That cuticle work is flawless. Yeah. And I think sometimes personal taste gets in the way. Sometimes with judges, they'll go, you know, well, let me just give an example. No one did butterflies, so I can say this. I don't like butterflies. You know, I don't like butterflies, so therefore I don't like these nails. And actually, those butterflies could have been done absolutely amazingly. Yeah. So yes, and of course you got one judge that loved it. You might get a paragraph where everyone goes, oh my God, this is the best thing since sliced bread, Nicola. I love it. Right. And then you'll have and you'll go, woo, and then you'll get another paragraph and you'll have another judge going, sorry, don't get this at all. And you're like, oh, okay. And as I said, with the filming, it was like, your video's in the wrong format, or your video's not big enough, or this isn't clear enough. And I was like, well, I'm not a videographer. I don't know how to fix this. Right. You wanted me to fix this, and I don't know how to fix this. So that was, you know, things like that. It's a bit like, well, I'm doing my best. So unless you're going to put me on some kind of course beforehand, you know, we are really, a lot of us were novices at this before we started, really. But the judging, you get one person that loved you, and you get one person that we're like, you know, I think, you know, I'm not very happy with that at all. And I think and that can get you down. I know it got some other contestants down where week on week they were just getting through. I think that must have been very difficult for them. I was relatively lucky because apart from the first week, I was always at the top. So I never had that. But when people say, oh, and it's in Britain, we have a different kind of thing about feedback. In America, I found that people quite like feedback. They'll go, oh, I'm going to take this feedback and I'm going to build on it, and you know, it's going to make me better. Whereas in Britain, our initial response to feedback is, well, what do they know? What do they know? Yeah. So, and nobody, I think if we're perfectly honest, nobody likes feedback that doesn't say that they are amazing.
Right.
You know, everyone only likes feedback if they go, oh my God, you're just fantastic. But when you get a feedback that goes, no, your apex was out, your ratio for this was out, the nails weren't balanced, which I've had all this feedback, your first response is like, well, I'm not very happy about that. I'm not very happy. But you do have to actually not take it personally.
Right.
I think that's the key, is just don't take feedback. And by week 10, I was not taking it personally. But up to about week 6, I was taking it very personally. I was like, what?
Right.
What do they know? What do they know about this? It was that was a very steep, because it's normally me giving feedback to people, not giving feedback to me. So it was hard. Did you find feedback hard when you got your feedback? Was it a bit like, oh?
Yeah, it was like, the feedback was a little bit hard. I find it quite interesting. And the thing is that with the feedback, like how you did say, like, it should be more on the technical. I mean, of course, people have their own taste. Like I have a taste of, like, in terms of style and stuff like that. But I went to art school. Like when we had critiques, it was fair critiques. It wasn't so much about personal taste. It was about technical aspect. And that's why I like with Nail Olympia, when I competed with Nail Olympia, because they were more technical, and it was different nail artists of not only their own caliber, but they have their own different nail styles, but they understand, like, we have to judge technical ability.
Yeah. So, and so I'm a big believer that with nails, unless your base is good, as in your actual technical ability to create a nail, to paint a nail, to prep a cuticle,
right?
Unless your base is good, you can stick as much glitter on that nail as you bloody well want.
Right.
It's still a rubbish nail. Yeah. And so for me, that was important for me, is like technically, what's the cuticle area like? What's the application like? Is it on the skin? Is it bulbous? Those are the things. When I was doing these very really really long nails, like my Sherwood nails, it's like when I look at them from the top, are they like needles?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. They have got to be filed within an inch of their life to get them absolutely perfect. Because before I stick anything else on, they have got to be perfect. Yeah. So the judging, it was hard. It's hard. But then again, I think the judges it must be difficult for the judges.
Right.
Because where do you even start sometimes when everything's so different? Yeah, it must be quite difficult for them.
Yeah, right. Exactly. I can agree with that also. Now I want to get into nail products. So what would you consider to be like your favorite nail products to use, whether it's, creating a cool, like, extreme nail, or like doing a nail service or nail, like what would you consider to be like your favorite nail products?
Right. So in the salon day to day, I am a gel tech. Okay. So I am all about using a builder in a bottle product or a structure gel to get that absolute perfect application, that perfect line of light under the light. Yeah, I don't want what I call a muffin top, which is where it goes over those lateral nail folds, you know what I mean, popping that out on it straight as a die, beautiful C curve. That is what I'm like in the salon. So I am a gel tech in the salon. When it comes to nail artistry, as in extreme stuff, liquid powder all the way. Yeah, because you can do stuff with liquid and powder that I'd find very too challenging, too time consuming to do with an olive gel. Yeah, I'd find it too difficult. So when I'm doing my big long nails, I always use liquid and powder because I can work with it, I can build with it. I normally work with a medium setting monomer as well, so not too fast, not too slow. I don't like chasing liquid and powder around on a form. I like to put it there. I like it to stay where it is, but I do like some give on it as well. I know, like Cooper sent us their 3D monomer, extremely fast setting, which was great for some things, but for other things it was like, whoa, this is I want to make this branch come out. I want to get my brush in there and move it out, but oh no, right, it's gone already. Yeah,
right.
So a medium setting monomer, and using a coloured acrylic to create texture. Mm-hmm. I think that is something that's not used enough in nail art, is that, you know, we can paint using coloured acrylics. Right. There is just a certain way to do it, so you don't end up with mud. You don't want mud. You don't want mud at the end, which is very difficult. Right. So gel in the salon, almost that kind of Eastern European look, that very, very clean look. And then on competition work, you know, the bigger the better. You know, the bigger the better. Let's stick a dragon on the top of it with a butterfly on its head. That's what I'm like there.
Yeah, that's really, really cool. Now, what are some of the things that you found interesting within the nail industry? What are things that have stood out to you being in the nail industry?
Things that is a diversity of arts in the nail industry. I always find that amazing. And just when you think you have seen everything, up pops something else. Now, don't get me wrong, the basics are always the same. You know, the basic technique's always the same, but somebody else then goes, aha, but then I did this to it. And it's like, wow, that is an amazing thing. So that is the thing that stands out to me in the nail industry, is how it evolves. It keeps on reinventing itself. Mm-hmm. You know, long gone are the days are thankfully of glitter on a ring finger. Hopefully we will never see this phenomenon ever again. You know, everybody now is embracing nail art. They are wanting it on their nails. They are seeing it as an extension of their personal style. Right. Yeah. Of their character. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And it can be, I mean, me personally, yes, I do all these fancy nails and everything, but actually my go-to is actually, believe it or not, a straight red mani, a perfectly applied straight red mani, because I dress quite vintagey when I'm out, and it goes with what I wear. Mm-hmm. But I think that's where we are. We can have a perfectly executed red mani, and then over here we're making you into an ice queen, and this is and you know these and everything in between. Right. And I don't think there's any other kind of, unless you go to couture catwalk, where you get this wonderful kind of varied ability. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And you just pick bits what you want. I'll tell you what else I like as well, is that we see extreme nail art. I do extreme nail art, you do extreme nail art. And then what other techs can do is they can just take a little bit of that and go, I like the way they painted that. I like that idea. I like the essence. I'm going to kind of water that down a little bit and put it on a salon set. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think that's great that we can do that as an industry as well. And I want to kind of promote that. So when I'm doing extreme nail art, I always say, yes, I've made this and it's huge and it's massive. Mm-hmm. But we can actually dilute this down and do this in the salon. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You know, something smaller, a little detail, so you get the kind of essence of it. I think that's really cool. Not many kind of industries or careers can you do that kind of thing.
Yeah, right, exactly. And plus there's like so many products out, and the nail art is getting way more conceptual, more creative. Is absolutely amazing. I love the 4D gel, the plasticine gel that's out. Like, yeah,
that's great. And I mean it's been out quite a bit, and you can do anything with that now. I think last Christmas or the Christmas before, I did nails with little gnomes on, you know, little Christmas gnomes on made out of that. And of course people are using polymer gels now more. And you know, gels are thicker as well, you know, they're not running around all over the place. Your liquid and powders are coming up. There's not a color that it doesn't come in, and and God forbid if you haven't got that color, you can make it yourself. Right. Yes. But I do think from a professional standpoint, we are going to have to be very careful, because a lot of on YouTube and things, on videos, you will see them mixing products. To create this, I mixed A with B, and actually A and B in a salon environment should not be mixed together. Yes. Right. And you see this a lot, people picking up a pot of gel, you know, like hard gel, and they're mixing a polymer powder in with it to create their own acrygel. And That's okay if you're doing extreme nail art for a competition piece, but we do need to get the message across that you cannot be doing that in a salon. You cannot be mixing a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this just to see what goes on. Or you're going to get allergies, you're going to have overexposure reactions. You know, there's a whole load of other problems that could be occurring there. So I think we need to get that message out that, yes, it's great that we can do all these things, but if we're in the salon, we do need to be following manufacturer's instructions.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Now, what has been like, how were you able to find balance between like working as a nail artist and everyday life?
As in with the competition. So I took the decision quite early on, that I was actually going to give my hands-on clients. So I only held about 15 clients anyway, because I predominantly teach. So I only have about 15 clients. I gave those clients to my nail babies to look after my students. So I said to my students, right then, I've got 15 people that need to be looked after whilst I'm competing. And they all went, oh yes, I'll have one, please, nail mummy. So I gave them to them. So I saw very, very few actual nail clients during the competition. And then in the daytime, I did my normal teaching. So I teach from about 9:30 to 3 o'clock in the day. And then the rest, and I do that 4 days a week. So the rest of the time I could compete. Saying that, if you were not in a financial position to actually lose half of your client base, it would have been a massive struggle for me. It would have been a huge struggle for me if I had to teach, do 2 or 3 clients, and then start on my piece. I would have had, me personally, I would have had problems. I would have really, really struggled with that. And luckily as well, I have a fantastic supportive partner, and he really picked up the slack with the school runs and the ballet classes and the sports days and all of that other stuff that is in your life. So, you know, you do need, I think if you're going into a competition at this level, and I think there's rumour that season 10 is going to be a little bit watered down. I've heard that they're going to make it a little bit more inclusive and not as stressful. There's going to be a shorter amount of time and not so many challenges. So I have heard that maybe they've taken that on board. Maybe they understand that they could be ostracizing huge swathes of fantastic nail artists because of the time and financial commitment. There is a financial commitment to these competitions, because you're not working, you're turning business away. And we were lucky that they gave us products to work with, but some people that were in different countries, they had to pay import duty on those products. So, you know, there's money there as well, isn't there? So these are things maybe they want to kind of iron out to allow, because if I was, let's say, if I was a single parent, I've got 3 kids. So if I had a single parent, I had three kids and no support, I was working 10-hour days on the tools. Yeah. There's absolutely no way I could have committed to this competition. Right. So how many other nail artists out there that are absolutely the bomb, right? And they've got these amazing ideas from all these different backgrounds and upbringings, okay? How many of them are out there that are actually the next big thing, that are actually aren't given the ability, aren't given the opportunity to compete like this? That was my thought all along. It was like, yeah, I'm lucky enough that I can do this, but there are lots of people that can't. Right, exactly. Yeah, that's something to consider. But also I definitely want to talk about in terms of what advice would you give for someone who wants to be a nail artist or a nail tech, and how does one overcome failure? Right. So first of all, you have to accept you're going to fail. You're going to have to accept you're going to fail. Right. Number one, learn the basics. Learn the basics first. Get the basics under your belt. Yeah. Right. Because if you get the basics right, everything that you build up on that foundation is going to be strong. Right. Second, don't imitate. Don't copy. Don't go onto Pinterest. Don't go onto Instagram. Don't go and see what X, Y, and Z are doing. Okay. Go out and get your inspiration from somewhere else. Get your inspiration from an art gallery. Get your inspiration from the lady's scarf that you saw on the bus, a handbag that you saw in the supermarket. Yeah. Get your inspiration from a bug that you saw in the garden and how shiny its coat was. Okay. Take your inspiration from anything but other people's nail art.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Because if you want to be different, you've got to get your inspiration from other places.
Right.
Yes, if you want to be different. And if it hasn't been done before, I've never seen this before. I'm going to do it. And it's okay to fail. I've done sets of nails and I think, oh, this is going to look really good. I've got a fantastic idea. And I've done this set of nails and I go, well, they're an abomination. They look, and that's okay. That's okay. Right. I've just found out another way of not to do it. That's what I do. So yeah, get your basics right. Don't copy anybody. Be your own person. Stay true to your character. Do you. Do you. Because I saw all these lovely, amazing nail artists in this competition, and the temptation, a guy called Nathan, who's another Brit that was in the car. Oh my God, he's just like, his brain works in a completely different wavelength to mine. I used to look at his stuff and I'd be like, God, where does he get all of his amazing ideas from? Yeah, because his brain works so differently. And there is this kind of conflict, like, oh, I'm going to be more like Nathan. I'm going to start doing this conceptual nail art because it's so cool. But then I would just be copying Nathan. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? They're Nathan's ideas. Yeah. So as I got further along in the competition, I just took me and just exaggerated it even more. So the things that I would like to do, I just made them bigger because I had the opportunity to make them bigger. So no, don't copy anybody else. Don't copy anybody else, and get your basics right. Get your foundations right. That's what I'd advise. And then just go bonkers with it. Do what you want.
Right. Yeah, right. Exactly. Most definitely. Last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support your work?
Okay, so I'm on Instagram, Nail Couture Lincoln. I'm on Facebook, Nail Couture Lincoln. And I'm on YouTube, Nail Couture Lincoln. Yes, so you can find me there. And I'm going to be going back to do some more YouTube channels, more YouTube videos, because people said that they really enjoyed them. So I'm going to go back to do that and a bit more, not the extreme stuff, but I'm actually going to start bringing some more back to basic stuff on there. Because I think when you first start out as well, you see all this mad stuff and that's like, and then you go and try it and you can't do it and you can be disheartened. So on my YouTube channel as well, I'm going to start with some of the basics as well to, bring people up. Let's bring us all up together. That's my aim.
Yeah, most definitely. Thank you so much, Nicola, for jumping onto the show. Your work is absolutely great. Congrats again for winning.
Thank you.
9. It's really, really cool. Thank you so much for jumping onto the show.
Right. Thank you. See you soon. Bye.
See you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.